in a locality.
Minister, first of all, I obviously support the motion and commend Dr. Cullinane for bringing forward all of the solutions which I really hope you take on board. I want to get to a point where we do have the €200 a month childcare that was promised by a lot of parties before the last election, but particularly as well from government representatives, and that simply hasn't been delivered. But even if we get to that point, if we have €200 a month childcare, it's not going to be of value to many parents because they can't get access to childcare in the first place. I attended a public meeting in Tramore in County Waterford a number of weeks ago. All of the Oireachtas members and local councillors were invited. And I think it's a really good example, Minister, and I would ask you to look at Tramore Town as a good example of a growing population, but it hasn't seen the investment in childcare facilities that it needs. And parent after parent were talking about the impossibility of trying to find appropriate early education or childcare, and it was a real barrier for some parents, particularly women, getting back to work or finding full-time employment. There are housing estates, new housing developments, where, for example, the buildings that were allocated for childcare are empty, and childcare providers say there is a real battle to actually provide a service there because of the subsidies that simply don't exist or are not good enough. There's bureaucracy, there's lots of reasons why, and it just isn't cost effective. That's one of the issues. And if we have new housing developments where there's a promise that within those housing developments there should be childcare facilities, but then it's not being provided, that's a failure of government and government policy. But really what they asked me to convey to you is that they want you to do a pilot project in Tramore of a state-led childcare facility and look at capital investment. But the crucial issue that they also raised with me, providers but also parents, is the issue of staffing. There's a huge staff turnover. We can't get the staff. There are obviously issues in relation to pay. We've been asking you to deal with those issues for a long number of years, and it is having a major barrier and impediment to providing childcare places. And Tramore in County Waterford is only one example of many towns and cities and rural areas where childcare, unfortunately, is either non-existent or simply isn't at the capacity that it should be. So I'm hoping, Minister, that you will listen to what we're saying here and take on board the solutions which are in our motion.